welcome everybody to our second roundtable. Some of you were here last year, and it was a really exciting beginning for what we hope will become not only an annual get-together, but an opportunity for us to get together, hopefully on a quarterly basis, to kind of follow up on some of the issues that we raised today. You have in your folder, in the your separate section, the purple cover, is the roundtable agenda, which is basically the three major issues that we are going to be talking about today. And we also have the biographies of our panel. And I'm going to be turning this over to Dan Holterman.
Thank you, Barbara. I'm Dan Holterman, and like Barbara, I'd like to also echo my thanks for everyone for showing up to the panel, for taking the time, as well as the participants and the audience as well. I'm thinking that this roundtable will be informal. People can speak on the panel, as well as people can ask questions. What I'm hoping for is a good give and take. We have some important questions to address today. There will be no right answer, but I don't think we'll solve any question, and we won't solve any problems, but we can begin to address some important questions. So I think I'll start by introducing the panel, starting first by myself. I'm a tumor immunologist. I've been working for more than 25 years in cancer research. My experience spans all aspects of cancer research. I've done basic research, translational, which means you take the basic research and you try to apply it to the patients. I've helped with phase 1 cancer trials, mostly immunotherapies and vaccines for cancers. I've even run clinical laboratories, so I know a lot of the regulations that apply to clinical laboratories. And my current position, I'm actually trying to take a drug that's preclinical and trying to make it into an FDA-approved drug. So I'm going to whole new sides of regulations, of FDA regulations and things. My first person on the panel is Dr. Robert Kyle. He's with the Mayo, MD, he's an MD from the Mayo Clinic in Rochester. He's he's professor of medicine, laboratory medicine, and pathology at Mayo Clinic in Medicine, Rochester. He served as a William H. Donald Professor of Medicine, Laboratory Medicine, and was selected head and chairman of the Division of Hematology. After earning a degree in Northwestern University Medical School in Chicago, where actually, you've all got these in your package, right? I don't need to read this. First speaker will be Dr. Kyle. Then we have Andrew. Andrew Lou. Then we have Dr. Keith Stewart, Jesse Nodora. Then we have Dr. Leif Bergsagel. And then, I'm sorry. Then we have
Victor Carrasco. Word from the back.
Victor Carrasco from Leukemia Lymphoma Society. So I think what we'll do first is we'll start addressing, I think, maybe the first question. The first question that we'd like to address today is, what can we do to encourage patient involvement in clinical trials, and what are the barriers? And I think maybe we'll start with Dr. Kyle, if he has any ideas on this.
Well, it is certainly, you'll be here.
Why don't you come up here so they can hear?
It's, first of all, it's a real pleasure to be here. The greatest risk is getting sunstroke, because this is a very, very bright sun that you have here today. But fortunately, absolutely wonderful temperatures and a very nice breeze. Now, you folks all living here don't really appreciate that, and you take it kind of for granted, I suspect. But please pay more attention to your weather here, at least this time of the year, and enjoy it. It's always a pleasure for me to see patients with disease multiple myeloma gathering together and supporting each other, and a lot of give and take with these patient meetings, patient seminars, and the like. This is a particularly pleasant occasion for me because I've known Mr. Kavanaugh for, I guess, 17 years, something like that. And when you see people, patients with this disease at that point, it's a patients like this, you couldn't tell that he had anything wrong with him whatsoever. And I take off my hat to patients who do get out, talk to other patients, and show them that lots of good can still be done even after the diagnosis of a serious disease is made. Now, the first question here is about patients and clinical trials. As you probably know, in this country, probably 3 to 5% only of patients with multiple myeloma are treated on clinical trials. The reason for the low percentage is very complex, and there are lots of reasons for this that the panelists here will address, I am sure. In France, about 80% of patients with multiple myeloma enter into prospective trials. So we in this country have a big challenge and a long ways to go, but it is extremely important to get involved on trials. As many of you know, new drugs come, and unfortunately a lot of new drugs go, but it's extremely important for patients to be on early protocols with these drugs, because when they come from the laboratory, one can work with cell cultures from patients with multiple myeloma. One can work with the cells obtained from patients with multiple myeloma, and then one can also inject animals. But none of these will substitute for clinical trials. And in the initial clinical trials, one is looking for tolerability of the drug. That is, does it have a lot of toxic side effects? That's the first thing that needs to be addressed. And then if the drug is tolerable, the second point is that the drug needs to show efficacy, that is, an effect upon multiple myeloma, lowering the M spike in the serum and urine, reducing the number of myeloma cells in the bone marrow, and making the patient feel much better with their increase in hemoglobin and the like. And then from there, one goes to the phase 3 studies in which a new drug is either compared with a standard regimen, or more commonly, we use a standard regimen plus the new drug versus the standard regimen to determine whether it is beneficial or not. And one must do the study in a large number of patients on prospective clinical trials before it can be approved for general use. And that's why it's important for not only you people, but your colleagues, your friends that you come upon, to encourage them to get involved with clinical trials. I'll not say anything more. I probably said too much.